Dear friends, thank you all for being here. I'm going to speak in English so that our foreign friends can understand. We are here today because the 8th of April is the National Holocaust Memorial Day in Israel. Israel commemorates today the 6 million Jewish victims that were exterminated by the Nazis during the Second World War. As we know, this sad story was not repeated in Albania because the Albanian people provided shelter and saved the Jews of Albania, but not only, also those that came from neighboring countries. At the beginning of the war, there were 200 Jews living in Albania, and at the end there were more than 3,000. And none of them was killed, and none of them was rounded up by the Nazis. Now many people ask why Albania stood alone in this history. What was different in Albania? Why did Albanians save the Jews? It was for a very simple fact, because Albanians were not and are not bound by any specific ideology or religion that compels people to kill others. Albanians are bound and respect and are devoted to our own ancient moral heritage and customary laws that compel us to provide shelter to a friend in need. And for this very reason, we provided shelter to Jews who came to search for refuge in Albania, and not only, we even provided shelter to former Italian soldiers who first came in 1939 to Albania as an occupying force, but then afterwards, when Italy capitulated and the Italian army was disbanded and Italian soldiers were hunted by the Nazis to be killed, the Albanian people provided them with shelter and refuge. For example, I can mention here the father of a famous Italian singer Albano Carrisi, who was an Italian soldier. He was saved by Albanian people during the war, and in honor of the people that saved him, he named his son Albano, which is a very unusual name for an Italian. In this regard, I would like to say a few words about those ancient customary laws of Albania that compelled the people to save the Jews. Very often these laws have been described as backward or primitive, even by Albanians themselves. I find this very wrong. I think that we should embrace and we should be proud of these values, because that's who we are. That's what were the values of our ancestors. And that's what pushed us to save Jews and other people during the war and in other occasions. Now I'm going to read a letter, tribute letter, that was sent to the Albanian people by our friend Uziel Benidjak. Tribute to the Albanian people on the Israeli Holocaust Memorial Day. Dear friends, today we commemorate in Israel the 6 million Jewish victims of the Holocaust during the Second World War. During these mankind's darkest days, Jewish men, women, children, elders were annihilated by the Nazis in a vicious system of industrial-scale extermination. This happened all over Europe, in the occupied countries and territories. Unfortunately, most of the population of the occupied countries collaborated with the Nazis to identify and round up the Jews. This was done because of the widespread anti-Semitism that existed at the time and because of wartime profiteers who took advantage to rob Jews of their properties. There were anyway few beams of light during this era of darkness. Righteous people stood up to the tyranny and gave asylum to Jews under high risk of their own lives. We highly honor these people today in Israel as righteous among the nations. As a Second World War survivor myself, I am deeply grateful to all these people. I was already in my mother's womb when Danish fishermen rescued my parents and smuggled them from occupied Denmark to neutral Sweden. Sadly, not all Jews in occupied Denmark were fortunate to be rescued and saved. There was only one country, the small Republic of Albania, where all the Jews survived the war. Courageous and brave Albanian people, devoted to their ancient moral heritage and customary laws, provided shelter not only to all the Jews of Albania, but also to all those who came from neighboring countries searching for refuge. As a Second World War survivor and as an Israeli that knows Albania and its people and history for more than 10 years, I avail myself of this opportunity to salute all the Albanian people, descendants of their righteous ancestors, on behalf of the Jews worldwide and especially on behalf of the Israelis who live today in the independent state of Israel. April 8, 2021, Uziel Benitjak, retired Brigadier General of the Israeli Defense Force. I'm going to read it also in Albanian. Mirënjohje popullit shqiptar në këtë ditë të përkujtimit të Holokaustit në Izrael. Të dashur miq, sot ne përkujtojmë në Izrael 6 milion viktimat hebreje të Holokaustit gjatë luftës së dytë botërore. Gjatë këtyre ditëve më të errta të njerëzimit, hebrejt, burra, gra, fëmijë e pleq u asgjësuan prej nazistëve në një sistem të pamshirshëm shfarosje në shkallë industriale. Kjo ndodhi në të gjithë Europën e pushtuar. Për fat të keq, shumica e popullsive në vendet e pushtuara bashkëpunoi me nazistët në identifikimin dhe shfarosjen e hebrejve. Shkak për këtë ishte antisemitizmi gjerësisht i përhapur në atë kohë dhe vërmtaria e pa skrupull të atyre që donin të përfitonin dhe të zhvatin pasuritë e hebrejve. Megjithatë, kishte rrezë drite edhe në këtë kohë errësire. Njerëzit e virtytshëm i qëndruan tiranisë dhe u ofruan streh hebrejve duke rrezikuar jetën e tyre. Ne sot i nderojmë në mënyrë të veçantë të gjithë këta njerëz si të virtytshëm mes kombëve. Duke qenë vetë një i mbijetuar i luftës së dytë botërore, unë u jam thellësisht mirënjohës të gjithë këtyre njerëzve. Kur disa peshkatarë danez shpëtuan prindit e mi dhe i kaluan nga Danimarka e pushtuar për në Suedinë neutrale, unë isha në barkun e nënës. Fatkeqësisht, jo të gjithë hebrejt e Danimarkës i mbijetuan luftës. Vetëm në një vend të Europës, në Shqipëri, të gjithë hebrejt u shpëtuan. Shqiptarët e drejtë dhe të guximshëm, të përkushtuar ndaj normave të tyre të lashta morale dhe kodeve zakonore, u dhanë streh jo vetëm të gjithë hebrejve të Shqipërisë, por edhe të gjithë atyre që erdhën nga vende fqinje për të shpëtuar jetët dhe familjet e tyre. Si një mbijetuar e luftës së dytë botërore dhe si një izraelit që e njeh Shqipërinë dhe popullin dhe historinë e saj prej më shumë se 10 vjetësh tashmë, përfitoj nga ky rast për të përshëndetur përzemërsisht të gjithë shqiptarët, pasardhësit e të parëve të tyre të virtytshëm, në emër të gjithë hebrejve të botës dhe veçanërisht në emër të izraelitëve që jetojnë sot në shtetin e pavarur të Izraelit. 8 prill 2021, Uziel Benitjak, General Brigadën në pension i Forcave të Mbrojtjes së Izraelit. Në përfundim, ju ftoj që marrim një minutë heshtje në nderim dhe kujtim viktimëve të Holokaustit. Let's observe 1 minute of silence in commemoration and respect of the Holocaust victims.